National Grid. It's been a while. We've been still quarantining. If not, if you haven't been, I hope you've been safe. If you haven't been, well, you know what? Yeah, no comment. Anyway, we have our guest here, my brother from another mother, MC Measure Card Frisky. He's not really a guest, he's our co-host. Our guest is Fawnix, Malisha, Fawnix. So, yeah, introduce yourself. Fawniqua.
I get that a lot for some reason.
That big group, it's the truth.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming and thank you for waking up and just jumping on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I just rolled out for you guys.
Yeah, but we've been gone for a while, but you guys had 4 brand new episodes in June, so we took a little break, and besides, not much is going on. Yoko's doing her day camp thing, and I was going around visiting some friends, and I was taking my time playing The Last of Us Part 2, which Fawnix also played and completed. I was originally going to do this podcast earlier, but I wanted to play the whole thing because I heard a lot of rumors and stuff like that. I was like, I wanted to make my own opinion on the game before.
Oh yeah, and your opinion on things changes so much throughout the game too. So you really need to complete it to have a good say of how you feel about it.
Exactly. When I wanted to actually do the podcast, I didn't even get to the middle of the game. When the big twist happens. So thank goodness I waited. I beat it a week ago, so I had time to digest and all this good stuff. So we're gonna dive in. Spoilers for The Last of Us Part 2.
Exactly. Yeah, make sure you say that. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers ahoy.
And an actual different opinion aside from the same demographic on YouTube. Just saying.
Yeah, Yoko watched me play a little bit. She was like, "This is my skills." She's like, "It's a stealth game." I was like, "It's stealth if you just run up and hit him with a brick, right?"
My dude ran into a whole bunch of people. Okay, my guy. Come on, you were crawling in a basement here. I don't know what you were doing.
Well,
yeah, I think you have the choice too. If you want to be more stealthy or if you want to be more guns ablaze, and particularly Ellie is better for stealth, and Abby is better for just being fucking everything up.
You're right. Yo, Abby's Diesel. She's been hitting the gym.
She is my favorite character in the game.
Alright, that's cool. So let's get overall impressions. What do you think of The Last of Us Part 2?
What I think?
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really good. I love the characters and how your opinions of them change throughout the game. Especially with Abby, in the very beginning of the game. Spoiler, it's coming. In the very beginning of the game, Abby kills Joel, so you hate her with a burning passion. So Joel is Ellie's dad, or father figure, not biological dad, but throughout the entire last game, you were playing as Joel and you rescued Ellie. So that relationship is there, and Abby comes in and she kills Joel, and there's a reason. So you hate Abby, and then you end up playing as her, so you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna empathize with this girl eventually, and then you do, because you realize what her motivations are and everything. But yeah, I love that part of the game, that your opinions of characters changed, and I know some people still kind of like Ellie throughout the game, but I kind of built some resentment towards Ellie just because I didn't like how she handled things, and I didn't like that she left her baby mama, essentially. I hated that.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh every time I see the character.
I agree. Yeah, but overall you liked it, right? You enjoyed it?
Oh, I thought it was incredible.
Alright. Me, I hate to be the one, but, I was a little disappointed by the game. As you said, you spent the first game with Joel and Ellie, and you got that, they have a great relationship, surrogate dad, and, girl that has the cure to save the world, and you play the first game and you grow to love these characters. You feel attached to them, and then in the second one, like I knew Joel was going to die because I accidentally read a leak on Twitter, and I was like, damn. But I was like, all right, maybe,
happens.
yeah. But I was like, maybe, if he dies, if there's like a good reason for it, I'll accept it. And what I didn't expect, it happens very quickly, like 2 hours in. And I was like, damn.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn. Like I was expecting it to be like a mid game twist or something like that, but that wasn't the case. And yeah, the big twist of the game is you do play as the villain, which is Abby. And Abby's okay as a character, but when you play a whole game as Joel with Ellie, it's really hard to overcome the fact that Abby killed the character from the first game, even though she had a good reason. I'm not gonna take that away from her.
Yeah.
She had a good reason.
So did you not empathize well with Abby
Um,
throughout the game?
I think maybe if they switched things around, maybe you played as her first and got to know her friends more, I would have had a better time empathizing with her. Like, I saw the Angry Joe review, and he had basically like a lot of the same problems I had with the game, and he said the same thing. Like, if they put things in a different order, I think we would have felt the impact of, let's say, Abby's friends. Like, Ellie kills all of Abby's friends in the game, right?
Oh yeah, I think I kind of agree in that sense that I wish that you got to know Mel and Owen before Ellie killed them. So you feel like, I felt viscerally upset because Mel was pregnant, and so did Ellie. Ellie had that reaction to like, oh shit, I killed a pregnant girl. But yeah, like you don't have that deep feel for them yet when you kill them.
Exactly. You play half the game as Ellie, and you're on this revenge quest to get, to basically kill Abby because you killed Joel.
Mm-hmm.
So the first half of the game, you're fully on her side. So I think by the time the game tries to switch it up and you play as Abby, for me, I guess it was like a little too late. It's like, I'm not saying Abby's a bad character at all. She has depth and she has reasons for the things she does. But at that time, I'm still attached to the Joel character. I'm still attached to Ellie, even though I feel like they changed Ellie's character a bit in this game. Like in the first one, she was very wisecracking and stuff like that, cracking wise, and very curious about the world and stuff. Here, she's more serious, rough around the edges.
She's also a kid in the first one still, so
that's true.
Like her struggles were kind of overshadowed. We never really went too deep. We only saw the expansion. That was it.
Yeah, that's true. But she just talked a lot of shit.
In this game, she's not even that much older. She she feels like she's in her late 20s just because of everything she's gone through and how hardened she's become. But she's still young. She's still 21 or 22. I don't remember exactly.
No, she's 18. She's 18.
She's 18?
Yeah.
She's 18 in this game?
Yeah, it's only been 4 years.
She feels like she's 27.
No, only 4 years have passed.
Shit.
They should have made it so that she was 27. That would have made
cool.
Because I at least played the
She
first
didn't feel that young to me. Obviously, when you go through trauma, I feel like you have to mature quicker. Or certain things have to mature quicker for you to be able to survive.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what happened in those 4 years. Maybe she experienced some crazy shit that aged her up quickly. That could definitely be it.
The first game.
Yeah, that. But I was basically meant she just talked a lot of shit in that first game. Even when she's facing death, that section you play as her, getting the medicine for Joel. She's taking down these thugs, and she's still cracking wise and stuff. So in this game, she feels just a little bit different, and
I wasn't in love with Ellie in this game. And I really, she's our lesbian princess. So I really wanted to love her, and I didn't.
A lot of people felt the same way, but
yeah,
they were
it took time.
Go back to your baby mama. Go back to her.
I know. I was like, oh.
Yeah, in a
Did my
way.
notification just be loud? Turn it off. Sorry.
No, I'm loud in my background. I got my dog here. He's quiet right now because I'm sitting on the floor.
In a way, I think maybe the director of the game wanted you to see as Ellie as the villain, because while you're playing as her, you're killing dogs. You're killing all these like somewhat
I mean, I
innocent
felt that way.
people.
I really hated Ellie throughout the game, and like it actually took me a while to sit and think about the game, to be like, well, they didn't really give her a chance to go through her, I guess, like revenge like cycle, I guess, and like grow from it. Whereas Abby, her like revenge happens, or like her facing that, her issue with her dad happens really early in the game, and then you're able to see Abby grow after that, and they really don't give Ellie that opportunity yet. And I think I'm hoping that that's a plan for a third game, because I want to see Ellie have that retribution, that redemption, and being able to, like, hopefully go back to Dina, who knows, but, like, have the ability to grow from that scenario, that she, like, faced it, and that it's over now, you know?
Yeah,
Not to spoilery, I thought she died at the end. I don't know. I had to watch. I wanted to see what happened after you played Edwin really quick. I couldn't really watch a Let's Play. I'm not, like, for some reason, this game just turned me off. And I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't. But
You just have to look at Abby's arms the entire
I know!
time.
No, I saw her lifting up something, and I swooned a little bit. I was like, oh, I can't watch this Let's Play.
I love her. I'm obsessed with her.
Oh my
She's in my
goodness.
thoughts every second of the day since I played this game.
Wow.
I love you, Abby.
Yeah, my biggest complaint with the game, I think it's the story based around revenge. I think because the first game story was like so unique, you had to travel across the country with this girl who potentially had the cure to solve this zombie problem. And it was very gripping. It had me the whole way through. But the fact that it's like, oh, Joel dies, the only thing Hallie's only own motivation in the game is revenge, and it's like, that's it. Like, I feel like she's a deeper character than that.
Oh, yes. I really feel like just the whole revenge arc for both of these characters, I mean, it's based around their fathers, and I feel like for female protagonists, it takes away from their characters that they're motivated by men instead of, like, their own volition. So, like, that is my biggest criticism of the game, even though I loved it.
Yeah, it's been 7 years since the first game, and I felt like they could have came up with a more unique story, something more compelling than this revenge plot.
I mean, I think that they're also planning to set up for something, another game. I hope so, anyway. And also, I love, I mean, we talk about how much I love Abby, but I also love Lev. They're like, they're like essentially family. They adopted family at the end of the game, and I love the fact that they introduced a trans character. I thought that was amazing that they're including that. And they had not only did they have they had multiple LGBTQ characters in the game, which I thought was great.
I think people wanted to make the game bad because of that. And this is a good example of confused writing with good characters that could have been better than what they were, than what we got. I'm not saying the game's bad, because I can't really say. I've only seen what I've been looking at from Edwin, and sadly I saw the leaks, and I assumed that, was her name Diana? Or
Dina, the pregnant.
Yeah, I assumed Dina was going to die as well. I was like, oh, this game.
Oh, I thought that too. Yeah.
And because one of the leaks I saw was the one graphic scene, and I looked at the leak because I was like, I don't think I can play this game this year. Like, mentally, it's been a rough year, and me personally, I need to play something that's uplifting.
You're like, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that I dissed in a podcast before. Now I'm like, I'm gonna shut up. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard game emotionally. Like it took it took longer, I think, than most games for me to play because we just had to take breaks from it because it is very hard. Not like hard, like hard emotionally to go through the game. And I was playing it together with my partner, and like I wanted to play it through like immediately, but he needed a lot more breaks, and he was like, "Okay, no Last of Us today, please. Like, I need to have a happy day." And even after the game was over, like we had this like looming depression for like a couple days, just because like it was so much to process, and like they leave it off as a major cliffhanger.
Really?
In a way. Yeah, I mean, well, it's like it's not major, like it's not like something like crazy happens and then they stop, but
It's like an unresolved ending. It's just like
yes, it's unresolved. It's just kind of like Ellie. The very last scene, spoilers ahoy. The very last scene, Ellie goes back to the house that she and Dina were staying in, and Dina has already gone. Obviously, she's not gonna stay in the house by herself with the baby.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and she leaves all of Ellie's stuff in the room, and Ellie goes and looks through her things, and she takes out Joel's guitar, and, well, she can't play it how she's used to anymore because she has lost 2 fingers in the fight with Abby in the previous scene, and then she just kind of leaves the guitar and starts walking, and that's how they end the game, that she leaves, and I think it's symbolic of her leaving Joel behind and, finding herself, so, like I said, that part felt very unresolved, that they didn't give Ellie a time to like redeem herself, but like I'm still holding on. I'm holding on for the next game. I feel like they're gonna do it for the fans.
Well, to hear you say that you want another game is good. That means that they're doing their part. And there are a lot of people out there who it's tough because when there's like a female-driven game that is of this caliber with a large fan base and they change certain mechanics, trolls are out there to just trounce the game.
Oh,
not
absolutely.
For what it is. Yeah, not for what it is, but for how they feel about it without, let's judge it before we play it. And even if you do a Let's Play of it, there are quite a few people who are really intimate about the Let's Plays for this game and go over it pretty diplomatically. And then there are just people who are just, I gotta test your nerd skills.
I feel it. Yeah, I mean, they did introduce a lot of new mechanics in this game too, which I thought was very successful. While I was playing the game, one of my other favorite game series, not nearly as good of a game, but like I love the Uncharted series. Like it's one of my favorite all-time games.
Yeah.
Same developer, Naughty Dog, and it felt like there were some parts of this new game where I was like, oh, like this is like one of the mechanics they used in like this scene of Uncharted or whatever. So I felt like they took a lot of the things from their other franchises that were successful and implemented them into this game, which I thought was great. And, like I loved it, and they even had some Easter eggs. Like they had an Easter egg for Uncharted that you could find. Like you could find the coin. I know you could also find a Jack and Daxter statue somewhere. I didn't find that one. But yeah, like there was cute little nods to other things in the game too.
Did you notice that they took the jump mechanic from Uncharted and put it into this game?
Yeah, I love Uncharted. So
No, I love Uncharted too. It's great. Like it. I feel like even though they're from the same developer, it's almost night and day because Uncharted is very upbeat, Indiana Jones, and you're doing parkour throughout the whole game. In this game,
yes.
it takes you need to like go through like a bunch of steps just to get over a wall. So,
yeah,
Oh my god!
it's very grisly. It's
Yeah.
like a different experience.
Yeah,
where
this-
you're like
it's down to
when
earth.
you're Nathan, you're more like this like amazing like wow, okay, I need to get up this whole mountain like piece of cake.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was watching my guy go into a house, just like 3 houses. One was in an office building. You had to go up the stairs, you gotta get a rope, and then you gotta throw. And then you have to climb up the rope, and then you have to go inside, build something to get downstairs because the elevator isn't working. I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much.
It's the apocalypse, man. It'd
Yeah.
be like this, I guess.
Man, all those buildings just like crumble after a while, huh? It's like the staircases
Exactly.
are caved in. I never understood that. Like, my friend tried to like explain it to me, like, well, if you don't keep up with maintenance, that's what happens. And I'm like, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, the story like once if you give me a story that I'm not compelled by and it's not like really taking me, by storm, then I'm just playing the game. So all I'm left with the gameplay, which is still good. Like you said, they introduced a few new mechanics, like the dodging. The dodging is really useful in fights.
Yeah.
And
Thank God.
yeah, and other stuff. You could ride a boat for a little bit. That was cool. And
Yeah, I mean, it was a different feel because in the last game, you're mostly like most of the combat is with the infected, and for this game, most of the combat is
with
against
people.
fellow survivors. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a completely different feel to it in that way.
I
It was
felt
like
that. Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, I don't even remember. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. I felt like in the first game, I had more trouble after, let's just say, the first 3 hours of the game. I started to get a feel for the clickers and the bloaters and stuff. I figured out their pattern. The human people were, even though they were still NPCs, they were a little more unpredictable.
Yes, and they had like different. They had different like subclasses within them.
Yeah. So I always died more to the humans than the monsters.
Yep, same.
So when it came to this game, like, dude, Edwin, if I played it with you, I'd be like, nah, not touching them. Yeah, but you could just get nope.
Oh, it's a challenging game.
When I played it through with Bear, he liked to fight all the people, and then he was like, he's a little scared of horror games. So whenever we got into like parts of the infected, he was like, "Here you go, your turn."
Yeah, that part in the skyscraper where you have to get down from like the top floor to the bottom sucks.
Oh my god,
That is the worst.
Yeah, thank God the game has like the after a while they're like, "Do you want to go here?" Because it's like, oh no, I didn't think that I had to jump a whole story. Like, no, I didn't think that was the path.
Yeah, like there would be moments in the game where like I'm trying to sneak around people, but I don't know where I'm supposed to go, so I end up going in a circle. That's what happened to me in the mall. I was like, haha, I'm swimming under everybody. I'm getting past them. Then I would end up in the beginning. I'm like, where the hell am I supposed to go? I was like, oh, I'm supposed to get that boat. So I ended up just killing everybody. Like, I try to play the game, without waypoints, and I don't use detective mode, as I call it, where you can, like, listen through walls. I never use it because I feel like it's
really?
just...
Oh, I always use that.
I don't, because it just feels so out of place in this game. I'm like, why can't she hear through walls? Like,
well, Joel could.
Well, I don't know why he could either. Like, I didn't use it in the first game either. It's so weird. It's just
a stealth mechanic, so you could be better at stealth.
Yeah, so
wait a minute. How could you play Tomb Raider? Because Tomb Raider, you had to use that.
No, I never used it in Tomb Raider either. I know
No,
what you're talking. I didn't.
No, you're kidding me. I was like, you're the reason why I play these games. You're the one who reignited me. I use that shit all the time.
Yeah, ever since Batman came out with it, every adventure game has had that mode where you can like see through walls and shit, and it's like, this is kind of silly. Like, why is this here? So I don't use it.
I need all the help I can get.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad mechanic. I'm just saying I wouldn't use it. That's probably why the game was harder for me. It was pretty challenging. I died a lot. But those firefights are, the AI is really good. They remember where they last see you. They spread out. They don't usually do the same patterns. So those parts of the game are challenging. What I don't like is like the forced walking moments. Like
when you talk to each other, the characters. Oh my god!
No. I'm talking about when the game forces you to walk.
Yeah, like when you walk, and it's kind of like a loading screen.
Exactly, it is. And
but the characters talk to each other, and you learn about them.
No, that's cool and all, but it's like talking in the cutscene. Like I'm talking about like maybe like the first 2 hours of the game's a lot of parts where you're just like walking and they're forcing you to walk, and I'm like, I just want to get to the running and stuff. And there's a lot of resource management. Like you're going to be opening a lot of drawers. You're going to be cracking a lot of safes, which is funny because usually
or you could do what I did and kept the spawn rate on items up, because I'm I'm a fuck.
Dude,
That goes into one of my other things about why I love this game is literally every single mechanic, every single part of the difficulty had modifiers that you could change in the settings. So
Oh yeah, they give you a lot of
I
options.
fooled around with my game a lot to like make it exactly how I wanted to play. And also like I have hearing impairment, so you're able to put like visual notifications on the screen. So like I use those because I use them in like Fortnite too. Because like I can't hear. I have one ear that doesn't work, so I can't really tell where things are in space. Like when I hear them, it's hard to tell the direction. So like I love that they included that. And then they had also different things for different colorblind if like that's a problem that you have. So I like that they included that amount of accessibility in the game.
Oh yeah, they have settings galore. Like you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the settings menu is insane. Like you could, like even with the for example, for the difficulty, like you could change how quickly the enemies are startled to your presence. You could change like how much items spawn, just the difficulty of how hard the NPCs are, how good your your companion is. Like if you want your companion to like attack way more, or do you want your companion to more sit back and let you do it? Like you could change everything about the settings.
Yeah, that's what I like. Usually the AI companions got your back. Like if you're getting your ass kicked, they usually come in and save your ass. Some good AI.
Yeah, exactly. Like I had my AI be a little bit more helpful than what the normal setting, or maybe I had them on normal and I had other things on less. I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I know that I adjusted it.
Versus Kingdom Hearts. Donald, you better heal me. You ain't healing me, dude. That's why I don't pick you. Stupid.
Oh my god, I just got a flashback. Donald, damn it!
No, the gameplay is on point. You know, it's the first game just with a few tweaks and improvements. It's on point, but I do feel like there was like some sections that.
It's because you didn't fall in love with Abby. I feel like if you properly fall in love with Abby, the game is amazing.
Well, I don't have a problem with Abby. It's just I can't fall in love with the character that killed my boy Joel, man. like
Yes.
it's like
I mean, I can get like people feel very strongly about Joel.
Well, let me give you an example. Like let's say I'm playing Spider-Man 2 for like PS5. And Black Cat comes in and kills Spider-Man, and then I have to play as Black Cat. I'm gonna be like, well, she's cool, but she kills Spider-Man, so
I'm sorry.
I'm upset. Like that's the best example I could get. Like Abby's not a bad character. I'm not saying she's a bad character. You know, there's a lot of people out there who don't like her, and they were giving threats to the voice actress, which is bullshit. Like you shouldn't do that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, they were. She got
That's
a lot
bullshit.
That is so messed up. Like she has any say on what happens.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, like there wasn't really any character that I kind of like attached myself to in this game. Like Jesse was alright, Dina was cool, but there wasn't any. Like even Tommy was weird because in the beginning of the game, Tommy says, "Nah, don't go for revenge. You shouldn't do that." And then at the end, when she's on the farm, Tommy's like, "Yo, we found her. We got to go get her." I'm like, "What? That's 180 from what Tommy was said in the beginning of the game." And
the completionist said the same thing. He said that the motives of the characters, he wanted to fall in love with the characters. He gained interest, but due to the writing, it fell flat. And I was like, dang. 'Cause I immediately watched the completionist after you played Edwin. And I was like, whoa.
I wonder if it had anything to do with actually, they're halfway through the development, like half of the staff quit. So they actually had to get a bunch of people to come in and finish the game. And they ended up pulling a lot from like movie director, like more of movie people than game people. So I wonder what parts they had a hand in and what parts were the original teams, because I know that happened. I don't know exactly what happened, but I was talking to one of my friends and they're like super into all that, so they were telling me that like that a lot of the people quit, and a lot of the reasons why a lot of them think that they quit is actually they were forced to watch the people that were like animating the game and doing things for the game, they had to watch like actual people be killed.
Oh,
and that's why it was
gross.
so like viscerally accurate
Oh,
because they had.
What
Yeah,
is
so they were very
wrong with
unhappy
Naughty
about
Dog?
Yeah, when I found that out, I was pretty upset that like I thought it was beautiful in the fact that they were able to animate these things, but like on their own accord, you know what I mean? If they wanted to be like, okay, well, we want to do that to make it more accurate, but it was more forced upon them that they had to watch these actual deaths in order to be able to animate them.
Well,
That's traumatizing.
So you're saying when they made Crash Bandicoot, they actually sent a bandicoot into the wild to kill all these turtles and stuff?
Yeah, no, this is specifically for this game. I don't know what they do in other games.
I'm just joshing, but yeah, that's crazy. Like, why would you subject your staff to that? That's not right. And they were overworking them too. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what happened to Naughty Dog, man. Like, it's
They become
bad.
an evil corporation. I love their
real?
games, but like, yeah, they gotta treat their staff better.
Yeah, like if you're gonna treat your staff like crap, then I'm not gonna buy your games anymore. It's plain and simple. But at the same time, if I don't buy their games, then it's like I'm not supporting their staff either. So it's like I'm conflicted.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard.
Our,
I think you need to be able to like. I think the best thing is to like be educated on it and to be able to be like, hey, that wasn't cool, and talk to the like. I don't know. Maybe I'll write to the company when I get more information and tell them like, hey, I don't like how you handled this. I love the game, but treat your staff better.
Well, here's the problem, and this is going to get a little political, so bear with me.
Spoilers.
Our culture has been integrated into thinking that we need to burn ourselves out, work really hard, and get really not a lot for it in terms of pay and gratification. When you're working for an industry job or i.e. video game, animation, or whatever, these people work ungodly amount of hours, sometimes even sleeping at the establishment that they work for, and harassment is ensued. A lot of people distort the truth. So when somebody's trying to present proof, whether it be text or video, there's always that one fanboy or fangirl who's going to say like, no, that person would never do that, or that company would never do that. And the company, the people who work for the company are overshadowed and silenced. So it's very, very difficult to smoke out who the bad people are in terms of a company and who aren't.
Makes sense.
Now, the only solution to do this is if I think they were starting out correct, which was leaving the game. I'm working 90 hours a week. That is not healthy. You could die at your desk, and it's not worth the money. I don't care who you are. It's just really not. You can disagree with me all you want, but your mental health and physical health are worth it. You're going to die before this damn game comes out? No. The next thing is writing. Like, corporations don't like unions. If there was a union, people would get together to get the health care that they need, work the 9 to 5 hours they need to, and not push so hard to get a game done. So, like, we're doing this, let's make half of a game and then sell the next half of the game culture. If that's what it takes to make a healthier environment for a really good game, then honestly, I don't mind spending that money so I can get another sequel to a game that I like, versus waiting 5 years for a game that was supposed to come out 3 years and torturing my staff and yelling at them and all that crap like that, just for the sake of making $1 billion over a game.
Yeah.
But that is just such a common thing ingrained in our culture, and I see it changing now due to the current circumstances. I know I'm ranting, but this is just the truth.
It's fine.
Just think about every game that you play or every TV show that you watch. There's always somebody who's being tortured in the creation of making it. So, I mean, big money stuff.
So
That's sad to think about.
So even if I'm watching,
but it's something that needs to be thought about.
So if I'm watching Paw Patrol, someone is being tortured for this to come on my screen.
Yeah, someone in Singapore is working like 60 hours. I'm going to say there's 24 hours in a day, but I'm going to lie and say that there's 1 billion hours in a day. Okay? That dude is an eating... So, I mean, Nickelodeon is pretty cutthroat anyway, so.
Yeah. Just look at what they did to Legend of Korra.
Yeah, they really did.
Oh, snap.
At least the comic's pretty good.
But it's coming. Did you hear that it's coming back?
Yeah, well, okay, so speaking of Korra, the comic is good, they redeemed it. And
That's good.
Avatar The Last Airbender is going to be live action on Netflix, and they're going to hopefully get into Korra, and if Netflix does it, they're going to fix it. I just believe in Netflix that much.
Yeah, I mean, I have faith. I heard that Netflix is, like you said, picking up a live action and also possibly not revamping, but like continuing Korra, the animated.
I don't think they're going to continue it, I heard.
Oh, no?
No.
That's the last I heard.
I know they continued it in the comic book.
It continues on Tumblr.
That too. Oh my god, how'd you know?
But we'll see. But for now, we got She-Ra. She-Ra fixed it all.
Oh my god, She-Ra is so good.
She was so good, and that made my year. Anyway, Edwin, your thoughts?
Oh.
Yeah, we're going off of
On
for Last
She-Ra?
of Us here.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I
It's
just
all good.
no, I just let me wrap up my faults of the game before I could start talking about things I liked about the game, because there are things I liked about the game. Like, I'm sorry for being so negative, but
It's fine.
Oh, it's okay. I'm the opposite spectrum. I love the game.
yeah, for
You
sure.
got both perspectives here.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, so you play half the game as Ellie, and then you get up to the part where you're, day 3, Seattle. Like, you complete all 3 days, and then Abby comes in, shoots Jesse in the face. R.I.P. Jesse. Which that's one thing I like, there's main characters, and they kind of, like, get killed right away, like in real life. Like, they won't have like this huge, like, epic death scene. Like, they'll just get killed right away, like,
Exactly, just like boom, dead.
yeah, it's shocking, but that's a thing I like. But then, so Abby confronts Ellie, and then it's like you go back in time 3 days before, and I'm like, whoa! But I wanted to see what happened. Like, I want to see that confrontation. So you have to play 10 more hours just to get to that confrontation. And I was like, kind of rushing through it because I'm like, I want to see what happens. And Abby has some good levels too. Like I said, like that whole skyscraper scenario where you're going to the hospital to get
Beautiful arms.
you're gonna get the medicine for, was it Lev's sister, I believe?
Yeah, Yara.
The
Which
girl with the
I
broken
would
arm.
say Yara actually had a sadder death for me than Joel.
She did,
Like-
because you spent like 5 hours trying to get medicine for this poor girl, and then she gets killed.
Exactly. And she saves you.
Yeah, she saves your life. And that's what upset me a little more, like the fact that Lev ran off to the island to save his mother. That was what he was doing. Why?
Yeah, he wanted to get his mother out because they knew that they were going to attack the island, and he wanted his mom. So.
And then his mother ends up getting killed in self-defense. So
Yeah.
we go to the
That
island.
was sad.
We go to the island to save Lev, to save him, and then his sister dies. So it's like, damn, like we came here to save you, and then this happens. Like, it's very tragic.
Yeah. Well, Lev's also, like, very young. Like, he wasn't being rational, Like, you have to consider the age and, like, the maturity of the character. Like, that would makes sense for his character. I think he's supposed to be, like, young teenager, like 14.
Yeah,
13.
something like that. Yeah, sounds about
Yeah.
right. So,
And yeah. He was dealing with a lot. And also, even when we're going to that scene where, Ellie and Abby have that first confrontation, because there's another one. But when
Yes.
they have that first confrontation in the theater, Lev is the voice of reason for Abby, because, like, Abby was going to kill all of them and kill Dina.
For
Yeah,
sure.
they were, like, Ellie, like, barely blurted out, like, oh, she's pregnant, don't kill her. And then Abby's like, good, like, I killed my pregnant friend. And then Lev was like, hey, Abby, like, let's just go. Like, come on, it's done.
man.
And then Abby's like, okay. And that's the reason why I had such a, like, I got so negative about Ellie, because I'm like, how many times does Abby need to let you live for you to leave her alone? Like,
I
get
know.
it. She killed Joel, but, like, Ellie was mad at Joel for the same thing that Abby was mad at Joel, but, like, obviously it was a different feeling because with Abby, it was Joel killed her father, and with Ellie, it was that she didn't get the choice to go under that procedure, which I think Ellie would have chosen to die for a vaccine.
Yeah, she says she said at one point that my life would have had meaning if I died.
Exactly.
But then at the end, if you remember in the first one, I just distinctly remember they were saying, "Yeah, we're gonna cut her brain up, but it doesn't mean that we'll actually find the cure."
No,
it's true.
That's a risk. It would have been a risk.
It would have been a risk, and even if I have a feeling that for the next game, this is my feeling. I feel that Ellie's gonna get that chance to choose whether she wants to give herself up or not, and I think that Abby and Lev are going to find the Fireflies, and I don't know if they're going to go after Ellie or Ellie's going to find them, but I feel like that's going to be the subject matter of the game.
Or it should be like The Last of Us 3. Ellie just wants to be left the fuck alone.
Oh, maybe. Maybe she's just, like, hardened and just, like, fuck everyone, I don't care.
Yeah, so the whole time I'm playing Abby's section, I'm secretly just hoping, like, all right, am I going to get back to the movie theater? So, because I really want to see what happens. And so your enjoyment of Abby's section relies on the fact that, A, you care about Abby and you care about her friends and all the stuff she's doing, which, again, she has some good levels, but I feel like they should have introduced her friends earlier. So that way we would have cared more.
Everybody said the same thing.
Yeah, the pacing for this game is very weird. And they also have flashbacks within flashbacks, which is like, what?
It gets confusing.
Yeah, it's like, pick a timeline, guys. What is this, X-Men? The X-Men.
It wasn't as bad as it could be. Like, I remember the timeline, like, for Beyond Two Souls, like that. I mean, not the same developer.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
The timing of that game ruined that game. Like, it was like, oh, this could have been so good.
There's actually there's actually a
but
mode.
I loved Ellen Page Simulator.
I do. I loved it too. Don't get me wrong. I still played the entire game.
That game was crazy. Yeah, there's a mode where you can play it in order now.
Yeah, you have to... Oh, there's a mode now? I thought you had to play through it all once, and then you can choose to play it in order. I know you could do that when it first came out, too. Like, once you beat it, you can play it in order, and I'm like, maybe I will, but then I never did.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I only play once. Like, it's deep.
Yeah.
It's very deep.
Oh, I played it once, too. But Frisky, wait, did I give you or Kaze my copy of that game? Because I had the Steel book version.
No, I had it was for free, Games for Gold, so I just downloaded it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like, I think the story could have worked if they just shuffled a few moments around. And also, I think I would have enjoyed it more if Abby and Ellie, let's say, they didn't know who each other was, and they teamed up, and they had, like, an adventure together, and they had, like, a bond, and then at some point...
I was hoping for that the entire time.
Yeah, at some point, Abby finds out who Ellie's father is, and she's like, "Oh shit! Like, that's her dad." Like, it would have been like a huge drama bomb. But instead, we have Instead, we have like
that would have been better.
Yeah,
that would have been way better, and it really falls into the point of what you said, Fawnix. I really think that having different people mixing in the pot. In terms of like, oh, instead of video game directors, let's get movie directors in here. Here you go. Let's fuck it up.
Yeah, Naughty Dog should just make a movie already. They really want to make a movie. It's so obvious.
Really
it's so obvious. But
I mean, I love it though. Like these like heavy story driven games, I just love them.
Yeah, I do. I love them too. The game is beautiful. It's wonderfully acted, and. So you finally get that confrontation. So you're playing as Abby fighting against Ellie, which is like so jarring. I'm like,
oh yeah,
what?
Those last scenes, like, I guess you and Ellie fight like 3 times.
You fight in the movie theater, and then you fight at the end of the game.
Oh, because the movie theater changes to that scene. Yeah, you're right. The movie theater goes into that whole like you guys being stealthy trying to kill each other.
So at first I thought this was the end of the game, and I'm like, wait a second, like I don't want to kill Ellie, like I don't want
Yeah,
to kill
I
her.
did too.
I'm like, this sucks. So I'm playing this boss
But
fight.
even more, I didn't want to kill Abby. That last, I literally threw the controller a couple times and let Abby kill me because I just couldn't do it. I thought I was gonna kill her. I thought I was drowning her, and that was the end.
Well, yeah, that's another thing about this game. It had the perfect opportunity to have multiple endings. Like, they should have gave you a choice, especially at the very end. Like, do you want to get revenge? Do you want to spare her? Maybe you have some kind of middle ground. Like, this would have been the perfect game to have, like, multiple endings, but they just
It
gave
would
you
have
the
been cool,
one.
but at the same time, I think they want the possibility of another game. And if they made it more picky and choosy, well, like, even with the last game, like, you could choose not to kill everyone in the hospital. So, like, they technically made the path where you shoot all the surgeons the, quote, correct path, even though you don't have to do it in the first game. So I think that they wanted to make sure that that didn't happen, that people were like, well, wait, I didn't kill Abby's dad. Like, I got Ellie out without killing the doctors, because you can in the first game.
I suppose.
So I think that they didn't want to have that inconsistency in different people's gameplays if they make another game.
That makes sense. There's a lot of love triangles in the apocalypse. People are horny,
Well, I mean,
man.
I feel like there would be.
Who has time for love? Oh my fuck! Like,
Well, you have
yeah, let's
two
just
pregnant
cross
characters,
it.
so they have time.
We're not even
There's lots of
showered or
pregnancy.
shaved. It's fine. I'm thinking about that. You guys are all like, it's fine. It's just the L word.
Did you what you think of Ellie and Dina's relationship? You think they have good chemistry?
Yes. I thought Dina was very charming. And I feel like she loved Ellie, and Ellie needed someone to love her. So, like, I don't know if their relationship's going to be successful, like, going forward, but, like, I thought it worked for the game. Like, this current timeline.
Like, Dina was cool, but I felt like, based on, like, their conversations, I feel like Ellie wasn't, like, really that into her. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, I mean, Ellie didn't allow herself. Like, Ellie was so focused on the revenge. Like, there was no room in her heart for anybody, and I think that's why she ultimately was like, I have to go. Like, because Dina was like, hey, you leave, like, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing this again. And Ellie was like, well, I have to. And, I mean, that was one of the moments where I, like, screamed at Ellie and was like, why?
You were like,
do
no.
this? Don't leave her. Don't leave her, the baby. Like, what are you doing?
Every gay person on Twitter, every queer person was just like, you stupid bitch! Why would you
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that?
And what did you think of Abby and Owen's relationship?
I really like. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm biased because I just loved Abby's arc so much. I thought. Well, first of all, Owen is like, I guess, a stereotypical every Owen, because like I know an Owen that's like looks like him, acts like him.
He's a Chad, basically. He's a Chad.
He's a Chad, and
Yeah.
like I thought that their relationship was like cute, and like I like the fact that they kind of showed how flawed relationships can be, and the fact that like he literally had another girl pregnant, yet they still had this moment where they cheated, and it was like, I don't even consider it just Owen cheating, like it's Abby and him both cheating because they knew Mel and they knew that scenario.
Yo, Owen was like, well, let's go to Santa Barbara together. We'll figure this out, you know?
Exactly. He was about to leave his baby mama for real. I was like, are you kidding?
No, I think
So, yeah,
I think he wanted her to come with him. I think he wanted both of them to come with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
you
the
wanted a
apocalypse.
baby for?
When I'm watching these cutscenes, I'm like, yo, is this the Degrassi Junior High in The Last of Us? Like, what's going on?
Maybe that's why I loved it so much, because I eat that drama up like what?
Oh, I love Degrassi. I love me some Degrassi, but I was just surprised to find it, like, so much of it in here. I was like, okay. Well, did you like the sex scene? What you think of that sex scene?
No, you were telling me about it, and I was cringing.
Yeah, it was so awkward.
Yeah, thank
It was
you.
uncomfortable.
I think it's like one of the only things we could agree on. Yeah, that sex scene was awkward as fuck.
And we're talking about the sex scene between Abby and Owen, the cheating scene,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
where they go all in. Like
The implied scene with Dina and Ellie was really nice. I like that in like the weed den. Like
well, yeah, you see them cuddling afterward, but in this one, Owen's like, "Here, get in my boat, turn around. I'm gonna show you who the captain is."
What?
I
yeah,
thought,
they just all of us. Well, it was like they had so much chemistry and like there was so much going on. Like it made sense.
It's
Like all
heated.
their emotions would explode and you wouldn't be thinking.
yeah, but
properly, like
Fawnix, you know, people in that world have to stink.
Oh, I was saying, it was like, yo, dude, I don't want to fornicate nobody's apocalypse, man. Stink.
Oh man. So, all right. So I'm gonna talk about that scene on the farm. I thought that's where the game was going to end because it was like such a beautiful like setup for that ending. It was like
yeah.
Ellie got away. She survived. Dina survived. The baby survived, and they're on this beautiful house. This was like this section was straight out of Uncharted because there's this one part in part 4 where you're walking around Nathan's house and you're reminiscing and stuff. But
Exactly.
it's a cool concept.
And it makes when Ellie chooses to leave all the more upsetting because you see like you have this nice life now. You have, you know, you and Dina have this child and you have this nice little farm and it's like quaint and safe, and then she chooses to leave it. So it like really it messes with you because you're like, well, why like why can't you let this go and live life with this woman who loves you and a baby? Like it was upsetting.
It's upsetting because even more so because she didn't even go through it what she was going to do, but when she's
I'm
like,
so glad she didn't.
yeah, but when she's on the tractor with the baby, I thought the game was gonna end right there. Like that would have been the perfect ending, you know? Like roll credits, but then the game goes on for like 3 more hours, and I'm like,
And then it gets even more fucked, and you thought like, okay, this is the end, and this is a happy, and nope,
yeah,
it can't be.
they just the director just really wanted to stick it to Ellie and be like, nah, you don't get this happy ending. You're gonna go track down Abby.
She chose.
Yeah, like
I also one of the big things that I feel like they introduced and I hope that it's going to be. I'm hoping they're planning on another game, and I hope that it's going to be more prevalent in the next game.
Oh, that gang.
They introduced the Rattlers, and then it was like they didn't really
do anything.
I mean, you just it's kind of like they introduced them, and then
they needed somebody for us to kill for the last 2 hours. And
here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen, guys. 5, maybe 10 years from now, we're gonna get a Last of Us, but it's not gonna be the Last of Us. It's literally just gonna be the same thing, different premise, more diverse people, and it's gonna be called surviving the last, right? And it's gonna have everyone in it from the games, including Joel. Joel's not gonna die. Maybe he might lose a finger or something later on. Somebody's going to just make a fan fiction version that's better. I just see it. I'm calling it now. 2020.
I don't hate it. I don't hate how things turned out. Like it affected how I thought of Ellie, but I had to sit and think, and I think that's the point of Last of Us, how they've done it before. Like in the first game, I was so angry at Joel, and you had to stop and think about his character, think about his motivations, and then you're like, okay, well, it makes sense that he would lie to Ellie and save Ellie. But I was so mad. I'm like, why can't you just tell her the truth?
Yeah, he should have.
That's kind of like the ending. Yeah, that's the same thing where I had at the end of this game, where I was like, Ellie, why can't you let go? And then at the very end, she's able to let go, but you don't get to see her redeem herself. So it kind of left that little sour note with Ellie at the end.
My
I'm hoping that they're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, my question to you is like, okay, so she left the farm to get revenge again on Abby. Why do you think she didn't kill Abby?
I think that she had the realization that her killing Abby wasn't gonna make anything different.
I just wish she realized that when she was on the farm. Like that's another thing.
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
man.
And that fight scene where
It was a good
I
fight
mean,
scene.
also if you're unlocking the character models for the game, just looking at Abby before and Abby went after she gets out, being tied up on the pole from the rattlers, like just the amount of deterioration of her body, and like you can tell in her eyes, like the character modeling was stunning. They did such a good job.
Yeah, how long was
But
Abby?
yeah, that scene was.
How
Yeah,
long?
we don't know how long they were. I don't know how long they were there.
Had to-
I also really want to know what happened. What happened to Abby and Lev when they were at this essential like concentration camp like scenario?
Oof.
I want to know what happened to them.
I don't know.
But,
Ellie cut her down and be like, "That's it, I'm gonna get you now."
yeah, it hurt. That whole scene hurt because I'm like, you see this girl who's been tortured and she still gets up and like literally is fighting. Ellie has a knife and like she's fighting for her life and for Lev's life, and Abby is absolutely kicking butt considering the state that she's in. And like I was like, Ellie, are you seriously gonna kill this girl right now? Like she's fighting for her family in a way that I feel like Ellie could understand, and I think that's eventually what snaps her out of it. She has Lev in the boat and she's fighting with her like this like insane combat, and she gets the best of her and is drowning her. I mean, it was like difficult, but I mean, talked about it before that like I couldn't kill Abby, like even myself. I was like, I'm drowning her right now, like this is the end. And I didn't know we were gonna have that moment of realization that killing Abby, like you see Joel and you're like, killing Abby isn't gonna bring Joel back, and Ellie finally understands
that revenge is bad.
That revenge is bad. It doesn't give you that. Yeah, it doesn't give you that. That feeling you feel like it's going to give you. And she's able to let Abby go. And I was so. Oh gosh, I was so relieved because I really thought that was going to be the end of Abby, and I've grown to love her so much. So and it was just insane. Like her being up on a pole for who knows how long and still being able to kick ass in a knife fight with Ellie was like incredible. Like it was just a real testament to like how strong she is as a character.
Do you think the game would have been better if it ended on the farm, or are you happy that it had like this extra few hours?
Oh, I'm happy that I had the extra, because if it ended on the farm, you would have had no idea what happened to Abby. I mean, I was mad that Ellie chose to go after Abby, but it made sense for the whole arc of the game. It made sense. Like, I feel like Abby, as a very less mature person than Ellie at the time, chose revenge. And at the end, Ellie realized revenge wasn't the way. So I like that they showed both edges of the coin, where Abby, her life went to shit when she chose revenge. Like that was like the turning point for all of her friends to die, for her life to completely change. And I thought that was interesting that they showed the difference of like revenge is not a good path. Like it's not. You saw what it happened with Abby, and Ellie ultimately chooses to not get her revenge, and she was able to. I feel like able to grow from it, and I hope that that's going to be a big focus of the next game, is her growing and learning, and hopefully going back and getting with Dina and the baby and being a good parent. Like I hope for that for her.
Revenge is bad, Yoko. Revenge is bad.
I revenge pizza.
Yeah. To all the people who didn't like playing as Abby, do you think let's pretend like The Last of Us Part 2 was like the whole game you're playing as Ellie? Do you think people would have liked it playing Abby more if it was like a DLC?
I don't know. Like, would there have been like a full game arc if they didn't include Abby? Because like I feel like you played as Abby more than you played as Ellie in the game overall.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I'm just throwing that question out there because a lot of the complaints I've seen, like I don't have this complaint. Like I think it's bold that Naughty Dog made you play as the quote unquote villain because she killed Joel. I mean, Ellie could be the villain. They could both be the villains, really. I think it's up to interpretation.
Well, yeah, at the very beginning of the game, like with that after that scene of Joel, I hated Abby like with this burning passion. So from my perspective, for me to have this visceral hatred for a character and then come around to like her being my favorite character and really understanding and seeing the growth that she went through, I thought that was amazing for me to have like such extreme spectrum reactions to one character. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, but the general consensus I've seen, they just don't like playing as the character that killed Joel. So that's my question is like,
babies.
Would they be more appeased by it if it was DLC? Like again, let's say if it was an Ellie game, and then a few months later you got Abby's side of the story, and then you download it and you're like, oh, like I don't know, you think people would have like been cooler with that, or it would have been the same thing?
That would have been interesting. But I think that the whole purpose of this game was to understand revenge fully, and I feel like in order to do that, they needed both of the characters to kind of spurn that.
Yeah, because
like you see, because like you can't just see people as just like what you see on a page. Like Abby did wrong by killing Joel, but like she also had the whole she needed to have the revenge for her father, and then also later on with her friends. And she still chose to be merciful at the end. Like, she realized what she had taken from Ellie, and with Lev stopping her, I think that she chose, like, hey, this isn't the way. Like, this is the way I've been living, but this isn't the way to go.
Character growth. I like some character growth.
Oh, hell yeah, me too. Like, that, it had oodles of that in this game. But yeah, like, for people that are diehard fans of the original characters, like Ellie and Joel, like, this game could have been a big disappointment for them, and I understand that. Like, if you didn't develop an attachment to these new characters, like, Abby and Lev and Yara were actually my favorite characters in the game, so, like, I was really happy.
That's good. I'm glad you were happy. I read a funny comment saying, Last of Us Part 3, you're going to play as Ellie for, like, 2 hours, and then she's going to get killed by a dog, and then you play the dog for the rest of the game.
Yo, sorry, that gave me a really big laugh. I'm sorry. The dog.
Yeah, I mean,
think about revenge.
Like, I was mad that like they made the game so centric around Ellie, where I feel like okay, for example, like all the merch is surrounding Ellie, and I feel like it was more of a game about Abby. I feel like in the end.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but reviewers were told not to reveal Abby's involvement in part of the game. Like, it was like a huge thing.
That makes sense. But yeah, like right now, I'm like, where's my Abby statue? I want it.
Yeah, it's coming. Check Hot Toys. It's coming. All right.
It'll probably come out. It's controversial.
So yeah, for me, it's not a bad game. It's definitely solid. I just couldn't grasp to the story, and I couldn't attach myself to the characters. That was my main problem. But I do like things about the game, and I'm gonna go into that right now. The game is beautiful, like so pretty. It's awesome to look at. One of my favorite parts is the flashback where you go into the museum with Joel. And
with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that was wholesome, man. That was some wholesome content right there.
That was one of the best little walk around parts.
Yeah, and I enjoyed that. I know I was talking shit about the walk around parts before, but that one was cool because it was interactive. Like, there was a lot of things you could do in the museum. You could put on helmets.
Put the hats on all the dinosaurs. Yeah,
you can go in the mirror and make faces. Like, that was really fun. That was cool. And then you go in the rocket ship, and he gives you the cassette with the rocket taking off. I was like, oh, man. Like, I wish someone would do that for my birthday.
It was a very, very pure, father-daughter moment.
Another part that I liked, Abby has, the only, true boss battle of the game, I feel. Like, when she goes into the hospital in the basement. She's fighting that huge whatever the...
the Rat King?
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it splits apart.
Yeah,
like a bloater and that's the.
That was insane. That was very intense. I had my butthole clenched. I was on the edge of my seat.
Was that the part I watched you do?
No, you just watched me like the part you watched me do was like boring. Like I was just like going through buildings
Yeah, it
and
was kind
stuff.
of boring, but I love playing games with you. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, that was a good moment. And some of the sections were really cool because they were just like big, buildings you could like camp out and like lure people in. Like I started using my traps. Like I realized like, hey, I can make traps, and I started like luring them in. And I was like, yeah, gotcha, bitch. So
Yeah,
it's
like
cool.
I think that was one of the very successful things about this game. Like in the older games, I really didn't use a lot of the traps and stuff as much, and this game it kind of forced you to do it.
Yeah, and I loved upgrading my axes. So when those big Stonehenge looking dudes, like the ones with the big sledgehammers, they came around. I was like, gotcha. I was like, yeah, and like
The first time I ever faced one of those sledgehammer guys, like I died so many times. Like it was a learning curve for that.
yeah, and there's a lot of sections where you're just running from people that are very intense. Like you're running from a horde, or you're running from like one of the evil cults. You're just like running for your life. Like I love those sequences. They're very intense. So yeah,
And like those car sequences, which I think they pulled a lot of that from Uncharted, like what was successful, where you have those like car chase scenes, and they brought that in.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was cool. I love those just random like moments of action that just catch you off guard. It's like, oh, we're doing this now. Okay. Oh shit. Like it was cool.
Yeah, and it really is catching you off guard. Like you're like, whoa, okay, now we're doing this crap.
And I also like you have like a mini open world section towards the beginning of the game where you can just like explore at your own pace. You have a map in your hand, and you're just like,
Yeah, when you're first in Seattle, right?
exactly, yeah. They got that section straight out of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, because there's a similar section where you're in a Jeep and you're looking for like tokens to like go to the next place. But there's also like a lot of optional areas to explore. Like I like that. I'm surprised it didn't have more sections of the game like that, considering that freaking Seattle is huge. Like you could do a lot with it.
Yeah, I thought when you got like later on in the game, when there was like moments where you were talking about the map, I'm like, oh, okay, so are we gonna do like the beginning of the game and I get to search this whole area and like unlock everything? And then it was like, oh no,
Yeah,
that was only for the beginning. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's
They
disappointing.
teased us. They're like, that's it. It would have
That's
been
it. That one time, it's the only time you get to do like a map hunting and gathering.
yeah, like it would have been cooler if you could like explore like the beach or the pier, or more of the aquarium. I like the aquarium. That was like a cool spot to like look around and visit. So yeah, and the
Aquarium is
combat
beautiful.
combat is good. Like a lot of the fights, especially the last fight with Abby, is very intense. Like I was like, oh shit! Like it feels like you're really fighting for your life. That's what it felt like. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm fighting for my life right now. So I don't hate the game. I just left me a little underwhelmed, but it's still a solid game, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. You got a kick out of it. That makes me happy.
I mean, I think me developing such a strong attachment to the characters that they introduced definitely helped. Like, if you didn't develop that attachment to Abby and Lev and Yara, like, you're just gonna not enjoy it because you're playing a majority of the game as them.
And who knows if they make a part 3? I'm sure Abby's gonna come back, and maybe I'll enjoy playing as her in that game. I just hope that they come with a stronger story. Like I know they can do better. They can come up with a better story than Revenge is Bad.
Well, I have a feeling that it's just going to be better, and people are going to have to deal with it.
Like honestly, when they announced this game, like I didn't think the first game needed a sequel. I thought it would have like
I
been a
really
good.
thought that.
Yeah, I think it would have been a good standalone game, but of course, money's on the table. You're gonna take it.
I also needed Abby. I'm sorry, I need her. I love her.
I'm
Well,
gonna get you
why
that
don't
statue
you-
for your birthday.
I just need her arms to hold me at night.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think you deserve that.
Oh my god.
I think, why didn't they just do, like, The Last of Us, like, a, you know how they have you know how Uncharted has 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the Uncharted with the girl versions? I'm gonna sing this. Yeah, I gotta call it that. Uncharted.
Uncharted Spice
The girl
World.
side character version,
They could have just
which
done
is
that.
which is a really fun game, but
Yeah.
it's just way too short.
Yeah.
Yo, Edward, I can't believe you played that thing. Sorry.
You didn't play it.
No. It's because of him I own it.
It's like, it's very endearing. It's just like, it would be hard to justify paying $60 when that game came out.
No.
Like,
it was $40
6 or 8 hours. Was it $40?
Yeah, it was 40.
I thought it came out like full price.
No.
Like when it first came out, because I bought it and I was like, I know this game's gonna be short, but I love Uncharted and I need it.
I got it when it came
And
out too.
I felt a little bit gypped, or I shouldn't say that. Sorry, I'm trying not to use words like that. But I felt a little bit.
Is that a bad word?
Yeah, I felt a little bit like, like, okay, like I know this isn't like, I'm not getting my money's worth, I guess, because it was so short. It was only like 6 to 8 hours, and I thought it was like the price of a full game that I'm normal.
You got to play it on easy,
I played it for $9.
medium, hard, very hard,
Oh yeah, well,
hardcore.
it didn't do well, so yeah, it's cheap now.
Well, again, with Naughty Dog, they were like, they didn't have to put the two girls together. They didn't have to ship them either. Because one of the staff members on Naughty Dog made both of the two main girl characters. He just drew a silly art of them getting married, and people were upset about it.
Except they should get married.
I would agree.
Speak.
I mean, there were some of the characters that I loved too. Like, I loved Chloe.
Chloe's a badass. Chloe should have her
such a
own fucking
badass.
series.
But I also love Nadine. Like, I think I love Nadine more. But because like it is interesting. Like with a lot of the game, you like don't like Nadine because she's like a villain.
She's a bad
in
guy.
the 4th game.
She kicks your
So now you're
ass.
like, okay.
She kicks your ass in
does
that
kick your
game.
ass.
There's a fist
yeah,
fight
she
with her.
destroys you.
She wrecks you through like this crumbling building.
It was a great part. I loved getting beat to shit by her. It was a great moment for me.
You and me both, Fawnix. Like, if we ever played a game, like, okay, let's just say if we were like main characters in a game like that, I'd be like, oh, hit me harder.
Please throw me through the wall. Oh, good.
And they're like, why won't you die? Because I love you.
My love is too strong.
Speaking of that, before we go, I thought it'd be fun to discuss some of your favorite LGBTQ characters.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm tongue-tied. In fiction, because
In fiction?
yeah, like because Ellie is, like you said, you're a lesbian hero. So I figured, hey, what other characters that are part of LGBTQ community that we like?
From video games?
From anything. From video games, TV, movies, books.
Oh, shoot. That's like... I don't even know where to begin.
I got so many.
Then
My
Yoko,
top-
you
yeah,
begin. You know
My
what?
top 3,
I'll begin.
Cora, because, like, I keep telling
She's
my
a
friends...
bisexual queen.
Well, not just that, but she and I had shared similar experiences, and I love her. I have like billions of posters of her. She's motivational. That's one. Sailor Neptune and Uranus. They're classics. God, I love me some Sailor Moon.
But they're cousins.
Are they? Don't tell me this.
No, they're not. In the American dub, they made them. They're like, we're cousins. We're gonna.
To make it like not as weird for us Americans. We can't have.
But it wasn't. Nobody was fooled by that. Just say it. And then last is She-Ra now, because She-Ra's too good of a show. It was the perfect cartoon for. Oh, I could say Garnet too, but that's it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I loved She-Ra and the fact that they were so. Like, I love Steven Universe too. Like, if we're talking about like newer cartoons that are showcasing LGBT characters, but I feel like with She-Ra, they were like, we're not even gonna like sugarcoat it. They're like, they're together, and you're gonna see it, like, very obvious. Like, they're gonna say I love you. Like, it's like, oh, it was so good.
Also,
I was so
the
happy.
redemption arc in that show was beyond anything I've ever seen, particularly in LGBTQ writing. Like, the redemption arc of several characters, particularly Catra, because
Yeah.
you know I had such conflicted feelings with Catra. But anyway, I digress. What's yours? Let's go. We gotta wrap it up.
I mean, I don't know if I like right now. Like, what's on my mind is what's recent. So yeah, like Shira. I love Adora. I think that I relate a lot to her character. Shit. I mean, trying to think of what is current and new in LGBT characters. I mean, like we were talking about Last of Us. I love the fact that they included a trans character with Lev, and also the way that they just introduced it. Like, it was very natural. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we need to like make it really weird and obvious that this character's trans. It was just like when they were fighting, some of the Seraphites, which is the group that Lev is from, started calling him Lily, and then, you know, Lev felt like he had to bring it up to Abby, was like, did you hear what they called me? And then Abby was like, yeah, this name, Lily. And then Lev was like, okay, well, do you want to talk about it? And Abby was like, nah, we good. And I love that Abby just accepted him. Obviously, his sister accepted him, and it was just like, just a fluid part of the game. It wasn't like something that they like really like brought a lot of attention to. They were just like, yeah, that's the way he is. And I also love the fact that he came from a society that was a very religious society, and that it wasn't something that he was, and it isn't ever anything that trans people are, quote, taught. Like, that's the way you're born. And I love the fact that they included that like Lev came from this very sheltered society, and he's trans. Like, it's just, you know, it's not something that he saw on TV and wanted to be or something like that. Like, it's just, that's the way he is. And I think that's a lot of argument that people have towards trans people, is that like, oh, well, if you see them more in media, then maybe more kids will, quote, choose to be trans. And that's bullshit. Like, that's not how that works. Like, you know, you're born that way.
It's not how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I loved that's how they put him in the game, that he was like, he's trans, even though he was in a sheltered, very religious society. Like, that's him. That's how he is.
Cool. All right. Do I share mine now? I'm going to share mine.
Yes, please.
Yeah, share yours, dude.
Yeah. So, I got Trini from the Power Rangers reboot.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah. She's the first like gay superhero on like the big screen. I read somewhere. So good for her. They're probably not gonna get a sequel, so that sucks. And then
I was really hoping.
Yeah, it was
I love
so
that
good.
movie.
I love it too. Oh my god, we need to watch it.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I got the White Canary, Sarah Lance from Legends of Tomorrow. She travels through time, and she hooks up with like dudes, girls all the time. Like, she's getting ass in different time periods.
Is that actually, I'm not familiar with that. Is that like a TV show?
Yeah. First she started on Arrow, and then they spun her off in Legends of Tomorrow, which is basically like all the C and D characters from the DC universe. But they go on crazy ass adventures. They travel through time, and she kicks a lot of ass. Like, she's beautiful. Like, I'll look for a picture and I'll show it to you. She is gorgeous. But yeah, I love her. And I got Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's classic.
I tried to get Yoko to watch it, but she couldn't do it.
I
So
didn't finish it.
she missed
I got
out.
through season
She
1,
missed.
and then parts of season 2, and then Netflix was like, you know what, you're done. And I was like, wait, no, I'm not done. Okay, I forgot about it.
It's on Hulu now. But
I'm sorry, you're either a Xena person or
No.
a Buffy person.
Listen.
I'm sorry.
Or you could be both.
That's
like
true.
me.
Listen.
But I also haven't gone back and tried to watch them now. Like, I watched them when they were on, and I don't know if I would, you know, like when you go to watch something that you loved, and it's just like, it doesn't feel the same, and you're like, wow, okay, well, me as a 12-year-old loved this, but me as a 30-year-old hates this.
Yeah.
No, like Buffy, like the first season of Buffy is hard to get through. I'm not gonna lie, but once you get through it, it becomes good. Willow doesn't get a girlfriend until season 4, so you're gonna have to strap on and wait a little bit. I sent a picture of White Canary in the chat if you want to click on that. But Willow's the most powerful person in that show. Like, she's super badass. Spoilers for season 6, but she kind of becomes evil, but that's how you see how powerful she is. And then season 7, she doesn't want to use her powers again because she's afraid of going evil again. That's how powerful she is. She's like the Dark Phoenix. But she's awesome. She's like one of my favorite characters from that show. She's great. And I also got the Dean from Community. Yeah. Like, I love him because they never draw attention to his sexuality. Like, he's always flirting with Jeff. He's always making these offhand comments about, like going to rest stops. And he's like, always has these like flamboyant outfits. But then in like the last season, they made like a whole like episode about him like being like a gay ambassador or something. And I was like, oh man, like don't ruin the joke. Like, and even he says it at some point. He's like, yo, I'm just me, I'm not anything. This is just how I am. So I don't know why they did that episode, but he is one of the best characters on that show. And that show's now on Netflix. Go check it out. And then my favorite LGBTQ character of all time is Lady Gaga.
Who?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
They're not a character, they're a person.
Well, like I'm talking about like her persona, like she hams it up. But yeah, I've been listening to her a lot of music and watching her like shows and stuff. And she's like, she loves like representing for the queer community. She's always bringing them on stage and having them sing songs and dance with her. She got a Black Jesus on stage, man. It's her concerts are next level. But yeah, she's awesome.
I'm sure they're incredible.
And she came up she sings Born This Way, which is like the ultimate anthem of just being yourself.
No, I don't. Is Lady Gaga actually in the LGBT community, or is she an ally?
I'm pretty sure she's in the community because she be making out with girls on stage.
A little bit more than that.
So I don't know. That's why I was asking, because I don't.
No,
I know like her music, but I don't really know that much about her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's in the community. She's very proactive when it comes to that stuff, and yeah, she loves everybody. She loves her little monsters.
We're talking about like LGBT icons, like people. I know we brought it up briefly because like her, we talked about Beyond Two Souls and stuff like that. But Ellen Page, I love her.
Yeah.
If anyone listening ever gets a chance on Hulu, Ellen and Ian's Gaycation is an amazing show.
I heard about it.
Yeah, it's about her and Ian, and they go to different parts of the world and they see how LGBT people live, and also they interview people that hate them. So they went, like, I'm thinking about the one episode where they went to Brazil, which I was actually shocked to hear that Brazil actually has the highest murder rate of LGBT people in the world.
Yeah.
So
Yikes.
yes. And they interviewed, obviously, people, and they're like, what do you do? How do you live? And it was just really interesting. And they also interviewed this guy he was completely covered with, like, a bandana and stuff. But he, like, proclaims that he's killed hundreds of LGBT people, and he seeks them out to murder them. And he doesn't get in trouble for it because the laws aren't protecting LGBT people. And it's really sad, but, like, the whole show is very eye-opening.
That means that he's queer himself.
Maybe. Who knows?
No, there's never a maybe. Anytime there's a person who goes out to slaughter and kill queer people, they're most likely hiding it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it could happen.
Well, every month is Pride Month here in the Dimensional Rift.
Are we...
Yeah.
Anything else, or are we good?
Yeah, I want to thank Fawnix for coming on. Do you want to plug anything? Do you want to say anything?
Thanks for having me. It was awesome to be able to talk about Last of Us. It's been, my life recently in quarantine, and it's good to like kind of think about it and kind of dissect your feelings about it, which was really awesome. And thank you for the opportunity.
It's great. Thank you for playing it and talking about it with me, because Yoko would have been like, I don't know what part you're talking about. What? When did that happen? What?
Yeah,
Shut
Yoko,
up.
you gotta play it. You gotta play it, yo.
I am not in the mental condition to play it right now. I'm in
That
Final
is
Fantasy
fair.
mode. And Final Fantasy 7 I'm still playing. Is like I'm literally on. I have 2 bosses to go. That's it. But that's as much. I can't play The Last of Us right now. I just, for my mental health, I can't. So.
Yeah, it's taxing and it's brutal. Like I was saying before, with like even just all the death is like very raw and visceral.
Not just that, but my dog also does not like domestic violence of any kind. So if he sees it on TV or if I'm playing a scary game, he just goes nuts. So.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, those 2 girls' body counts make Lara Croft blush.
Yeah.
That was a nice slapper.
But yeah, like, you know, Resident Evil 3, then The Last of Us. You know, they didn't.
I didn't play Resident Evil 3.
Oh, do you?
I played 2 though.
I mean,
I played the original. I didn't play the remake.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell it right now.
What, your copy?
Yeah, because I don't want it anymore.
What is it for?
PS4.
Oh, well, I guess we'll talk then.
Yeah, we could talk about that after the show. But I was a little disappointed with that, and then The Last of Us. So I'm hoping to God that Avengers can come out at the 11th hour and blow me away. Like, I'm not trying to set my expectations too high, but the war table they showed this past week looks very promising. They revealed Hawkeye, and hopefully, you know, I'll be able to play with my friends. So save up your pennies.
I'm not sure if that would be me. I'm not like.
I know
I'm hit or miss with superhero games.
I know you're not a super Marvel person. I understand.
I mean, I have been in the past. It's just like not currently. I love Spider-Man, but I never got through playing that new Spider-Man game.
I know. I couldn't play it after Black Cat hit Spider-Man with a golf club. I couldn't do it.
Damn.
God, lighten up, guys. Jesus. I also wanted to shout out.
Our last note.
I didn't get to mention it on the 90s podcast because I forgot about it, but Matilda was the shit, and The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest was the shit. It was all about Quest World. Do you have any fond memories of the 90s, Fawnix?
Fond memories of the 90s?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, just like a lot of the animation and cartoons from the 90s.
Yeah,
are great.
Oh yeah, it was the golden age of cartoons. We definitely talked about that for sure. What was your favorite cartoon?
Oh god, I don't even think I could pick one. I mean, probably as a kid, what 90s cartoon had the biggest impact, I would say, is Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon!
Running home from school to be able to catch that at, was it 3:30 or 4? Like, it was really close to when school ended, but I remember like booking it to be able to like put Pokemon on. Sometimes like at our friend's house, because my house was like really far, so like we would be like, can we make it to your house? Okay, yeah, we can make it. We would like run, like full sprint to be able to get to the TV to watch Pokemon. So, and I'm still a huge Pokemon nerd even to this day. Was literally social distancing at my friend's house outside. We were playing the card game like with masks. It was really funny. Like we had our sanitizer station and like we were sitting apart like at this big table and like we were like, okay, what card do you have? I can't see.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But yeah, so it's fun.
It's great. My nephew had a Pokemon themed birthday party yesterday.
That's so cute.
I know, and I was like, back in my day, we had better Pokemon.
Excuse me. Love all the Pokemon.
They're all loved, even the one that looks like a spring.
Spoink?
Yeah.
You mean
that's
Boo
old.
Boo Keys? And I call them Boo Boo Keys and Lawnmower, the bag of coal. I'm not even joking.
Oh, Boo Boo Key. Well, that's X and Y, so we're not even in Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield yet. So
Sword and Shield, the coal card, the coal bag. I hate it. It makes me mad.
Anything past silver? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Thank you guys for talking. I hope you guys are having a great summer, and hopefully we'll be back soon with another episode of the Dimensional Rifts. Peace.
Love you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye.